Display Automation Studio. So I'll close this, and so here we have Automation Studio. You should see it now. So this is what you see when you launch Automation Studio. You should know from now that you have the Library Explorer here on the left, which contains components which are generic components. They don't have properties belonging to any specific manufacturer. You can build your schematic using those components, but if you have a look at them, they won't have much information or specific technical specifications. For example, here I have the properties of this cylinder, and if I look into the catalog information, I won't see any part numbers, catalog description, the manufacturer. This information has not been filled in for you since it's not a manufacturer's part, it's a generic one. So usually you have the ability to fill in all of this information yourself and put then all the technical data. But if you want to save time, you can then take advantage of our manufacturer's catalogs, where what we've done for you is the modelization, and also we've entered all the catalog information. So it will then be very easy to model all your schematic and have a good simulation, and also build your bill of material from this catalog information. So that's the kind of stuff we'll see today. So this catalog module isn't available for all of our customers. You need to have bought the package and downloaded the catalog from our website. So I'll also show how you can check if you have the right to download our catalog and take advantage of it. And if you don't, then you can contact your sales representative so that we can arrange for you to buy the specific modules needed to use these manufacturers' catalog. But you'll see there are so many advantages with this catalog that for sure it's a good thing to have in Automation Studio. It's a very good complement. So let's first have a look at the Automation Studio website, where we give all the information on how you can apply for these catalogs and download them. These catalogs are only available into our professional edition. So if you're part of the educational domain and you have the educational version of Automation Studio, you won't be able to use those catalogs, because obviously these are manufacturers' part, and they are kind of for the professional people of you. So here on our website, if you go and click here on Manufacturer's Catalog Download, you'll have the next page, which will list all the requirements to download these catalogs. So to be able to use them, you'll need to have the latest version of Automation Studio, which is Automation Studio 5.7, with the latest service release, which is Service Release 4. And you'll also need a valid annual maintenance plan with your license. So that gives you access to the catalog. If you have a network license, so if you're in a company and you have a licensed server, instead of only having a standalone key for your licenses for Automation Studio, then you will also need the latest network license manager, which can be version 6.1 and maybe 6.0 or later. Then you'll also need the catalog manager, which is a module in Automation Studio, which will let you use these catalogs. So when you download these files here from our website, you'll have a package, and to be able to take advantage of that package, then to use the catalog itself, you need the catalog manager. So If you've bought that package, you don't have anything to install. It comes with Automation Studio and becomes activated if you have the right modules on your license key. And then you need also to have a valid manufacturer's catalog subscription. These subscriptions are available for 1 year at a time, and they can be renewed given that you contact your sales representative and pay the fees for the use of these catalogs. If you don't have a valid subscription, or you don't have the right module, or you haven't had the chance to have the valid annual maintenance plan, then you'll need to contact your sales representative. If it's just of a technical thing and you just need to download the latest version, or need to update your network license manager, then you may contact our technical support directly. You'll find all the information on our website on how you can contact them. So once you have all these requirements, you will then be able to download your catalogs if you do the request on our webpage. So first, here are all the different catalogs we have for the moment. We have a lot of persons here at Famic Technologies working on making new catalogs for you. For the moment, we have these. I believe the Automation Studio Hydraulic Catalog and also Delta Power were released not too far ago. Sun also. So we have Comatrol, Delta Power, Eaton valves, and Eaton pumps. We also have Hydroforce and Sun Hydraulics. Here you'll see we also have the Automation Studio Hydraulic Catalog. We don't manufacture parts, but we have here at the top of our screen on our web page, we have different tabs, and if you have subscribed to the annual maintenance plan, you have the ability to request components that you may not find in our catalogs. So for example, here we don't yet have the Bosch Rexroth catalog available for download, where I think we might have an agreement now with Bosch to make a catalog for them. But in the meantime, if for one of our customers didn't have one of their components, they may have requested that specific component on our component request tab right here. So all you need is to fill in all of this information, so your name, company, your valid license key number for your Automation Studio, and then give the part number for the component you want to request. And then we'll try to model this component in the best time possible for you to use it. And since we've modeled it, what we do is we take it and we put it into our Automation Studio Hydraulic Catalog here listed on our webpage, and make it available to all of our customers so that you're not the only one benefiting from it. Everyone who has the Automation Studio catalog can then use it. So here this catalog will be made of parts from a lot of different manufacturers. Usually these components are a bit more complex. Most of our catalogs here are cartridge valves, except maybe for the pumps of Eaton or other components you might find in other catalogs. But here in the Automation Studio, you'll find very interesting components like, for example, the PVG32 or eventually other, let's say the M412 from Bosch Rexroth, which was requested not too long ago. So we'll have a look at these catalogs a bit later directly in Automation Studio. So once you have all the requirements right here at the top, all you would need to do is then go into the Catalog Download tab here at the top, and then make a request. Make a request, so you fill the form to, here the request form to download the catalog. And once it's filled in and you send it, we'll receive it, and then we'll communicate with you to give you the right credentials so that you can download all of our catalogs from our website. So once downloaded, we'll see what we do with these files. So I'll go back into Automation Studio and close here. I've talking about here the Library Explorer here on the left, where you find generic components. And if we have a look at the top bar, toolbar right here at the top, we have different buttons that will let you toggle the visibility of different panes in Automation Studio. So the first one right here is the Project Explorer you have here on your right, where all the projects are listed, so you can hide it. The second one right here is the Library Explorer, so you can toggle the visibility of this library. So I'll show it again. And then you have the third one here is the Catalog Explorer. And when you do load the Catalog Explorer, all you need to do to open your catalogs, so I have a couple of them open right here. I'll close this one. So let's open the Hydroforce catalog again. So here I have a couple of them, and when you download it, it will become packaged as a zip file. So all you need to do is uncompress it on your computer, and then you can let it stay on your hard drive, or you can also put it on a network share. So you can put it on a common folder and share your catalog across the company. So you download it once, make it available for everyone, and if you have a network license, then everyone can connect from different computers in your company and then access the catalog on this network share. So once it's unzipped, what you'll find a CTG file, which stands for catalog. So here we have the Hydroforce catalog, and a folder which will contain all the different files associated with this catalog. So here I was into the Catalog Explorer. I just click on Open a New Catalog, and this window pop up to open the right file. So here we're looking for a CTG file, so that's our catalog. I'll click Open and Accept. And then I have a new tab here in my Catalog Explorer, which is the Hydroforce catalog. So you'll have the logo right here and different categories in which you'll find all the different products that we've modeled for Hydroforce. Here, again, they are mostly cartridge valves, but there's a lot of them. I can't remember the number, but maybe between 1,000 and 3,000 components for most of our catalogs. So that's a lot of components you can use, and for which you won't have to model them yourself and put all the catalog information. So let's go and show how you can use these components. I'll come back on some of the details later, so at least you'll know what I'm talking about. So here you have different components in all different categories. And for these components, all you need to do, once you click on them, you go here on the bottom pane of the Catalog Explorer, you take it and you drag and drop it on your circuit, your diagram. And here, you just take in the part from the catalog and put it on your diagram. So it's here, and if we have a look at it, I'll just wait for the screen of everyone to refresh. So here we have our component, and if I double-click on it, we'll see under Catalog Information, we have the part number, the catalog description, the manufacturer, and if we go into the technical specification, here it's a directional valve, proportional one, And we'll go here in the area flow tab. So we have a couple of curves. I might find some more interesting components. Let's have a look here at, these are pretty simple two-port check valve from Sun. And here we'll see we have different curves here which belong to this check valve from Sun. So we've taken the time to put all of these curves so that when you simulate this check valve, it will behave like a real component from Sun. And again, if we have a look at the catalog information, we then have here the part number, catalog description, and manufacturer. So you'll see for all of these components, you'll have the part number beside the component. If you want, you can delete it or hide it. But what's nice about this is that you can easily build a bill of material once the component is on your diagram. So if I go here into the Insert menu and click on Bill of Materials, I can then make a box in which I'll have my bill of material. And here I have both components listed with their part number. And if I duplicate one of these components, so if we have two check valves here, and to duplicate it, you can just hold the Control key on your keyboard and drag it away and release the mouse, and it automatically creates a second instance of your component. So that's a nice shortcut in Automation Studio. So here we have two check valves now, and our bill of material was automatically updated. If you have only one component, you'll see it in blue. It's kind of a hyperlink, so if you control click on it, Automation Studio will put it in red and zoom on it so that you can easily find the component. So if the schematic is very complex, you can easily find your components. I think we went into how you can make bill of materials in other webinars about the basics of Automation Studio. So we won't talk much about this, but you can know that these bill of materials can be configured to have much more columns, or group. You can change the sort order or group components, or not group them, or choose just some components to be included in your bill of materials and some other not. So there's a lot of you can do with these bill of materials. So let's go back to our Catalog Explorer. So here we have the different components. You know, I told you that they were modeled according to the technical sheet of the manufacturers. But if you want to verify for yourself, we include in our catalogs some documents. So for example, here into the Catalog Explorer, whenever you select a component, here on the right, you'll find different tabs with informations or a link to other information that you can use. So the first one here is properties. So you'll find the common properties, well, the main properties for this component. In this case, we have the cavity used by this check valve, the cracking pressure, the different minimum and maximum values for this component. Then on the second tab here for images, you have a basic image of what it could look like. These are cartridge valves, so we see cartridge valves. And the third tab here becomes very handy at times, or very interesting, since here you'll find for all of our catalogs a PDF in which you'll find the technical sheet for this specific component. So if I double click on this, then I'll have Acrobat that will load, and I'll just take it from my second screen right here. So here you would have the technical specification for this component. So it's readily available. If you won't take much time to find it either on their website or in your files, it's already there for you to use it with a nice hyperlink. The first file I've got right here is a project file from Automation Studio, which is named according to the part number of my component. And if I double-click on this one, we'll see we have made the test bench to check if the behavior and the technical properties of our component were modeled correctly. So if we have a look right here at the bottom left, we have different components that we may include in the test bench to check if they behave correctly. And if you follow the instructions here on the left and actionate all the different components, which are usually with a yellow background to so you know where to click. So in this case, if we increase the flow, we'll see here on the diagram, we'll see the two cursors moving along this curve right here, so that we know that the pressure drop for this component is correct. Obviously, you can just double-click on this component and go into the technical specification and see for yourself that the curves are there. But you can also use these test bench to check the behavior. Here, it's only a simple check valve, but for a more complex component, you may find interesting to apply back pressure or see the component in an application test where it holds the load or control the flow. So these are the kind of tests we do with all of our components. We do the most meaningful tests so to check that the components behave correctly. So this is done for all components. So we go in, we take a lot of effort to check that our components behave correctly. So that was about the test benches that are included within the catalog module. And whenever you change components here, they are all variations of the same ones. But if we have a look at other components, you'll see that the file changes. So we have a lot of them. And these are included in the folder that sits beside your CTG file, where you would have unzipped your catalog file downloaded from our website. So once downloaded, you unzip it, you'll have a CTG file, and beside it you'll have a new folder with the same name of the CTG file except for the extension. And within that folder, you'll find all the technical data sheet in PDF and the test benches and a couple of pictures, all the files that comes with your catalog. So you have a very rich a product that you can use and save a lot of time. Here we have the components, but they aren't in a library. They are in the Catalog Explorer. And this is great because the Catalog Explorer is a bit different than the Library Explorer in such sense that it gives you a lot more possibilities like searching for a specific component. So here, if I'm looking for a component that starts with the part number starts with CX, and I just can't remember what was the last part of the part number, I can then go here and look into this Sun hydraulic catalog and then search. And it will give me all the list of all components that start with CX. And then I can choose from these components. And if I go here in the Properties tab, then I can compare them to each other. So here we see the cracking pressure change according to the part number. So I can select the right one I want to choose. And if I double-click on this component, instead of just taking it and put it in on the diagram, if I double-click here in the list, it will bring me back to the catalog itself and pinpoint where it is into that catalog. So if I wish to look for other components within the same category, I can do so. So this is a search feature, but we also have an advanced search feature that will let you do search in much more depth. All you need to do is go here and click on the search button, and you can then search in a specific part of the catalog or in all the different catalogs. So here I have a lot of catalogs open. I can choose to search in them all. So I'll select them all here and click OK. And then I can look for a specific text. So I can search for check valve, for instance. But I can also do an advanced search, and then it becomes very interesting since you can add criteria. So I will click here on Insert, and then I can select a property that belongs to the component I'm looking for. So if I want a component with maximum pressure higher than a certain value, I can just go here and select maximum pressure bigger than let's say 100 bars. And so this is a criteria. Now I'm looking for all components with a maximum pressure of 100 bar. If I want to look for a specific kind of component, then I can also add the category at the top right here. So I would click on AS category. AS stands for Automation Studio. And then I could search for an hydraulic component, let's say, where is it? Flow valve, check valve. And then I will click OK. And then it will look in all the catalogs for check valve with a maximum pressure of 100 bar. Here it will gives us a lot of components since all check valves pretty much respect this criteria. But here you see it didn't only search in the Sun catalog I was in, it actually gave me a result for the Delta Power catalog. We have Bosch Rexroth component. If you recall, we don't yet have the Bosch Rexroth catalog, but we do have some of their components in the Automation Studio catalog. So that's why you find here Bosch Rexroth components. We then have Hydroforce, Eaton, and so on. So this advanced search is very great. If you're looking for something in particular, you won't have to look through all the technical specification sheet or just go and look for all components in the catalog. You can actually search, and so again, you save a lot of time. Since when you have access to these catalogs, you'll also have the Catalog Explorer. And like for the libraries, you can also build your own catalog. So for example, here, if I take different components, you can build your own or take some from our catalogs. And then if you go into the Catalog Explorer and click on the first button we have right here, you can create your own catalog file. And this can be very useful. So if your company has a backstore with different components of different manufacturers, you pretty much know they are always there because someone's there to make sure that they are always available for your project. So you're not always looking for exotic components. You mainly always use the same, so this reduces your costs. So you may be interested in building your own catalog, so everyone in your company will only use the components which is available in your catalog, which is the same as the components that would be in your backstore. So here we're creating our own catalog, so we'll give it a name. So I'll call it Demo. We'll save it, and I'll just wait for your screen to refresh. So here you can insert a user catalog and give it a name. So, so let's say you call it shelves. So this is what's available on our shelves. And then within this catalog, you can create categories like we had for the other catalog. So let's call it category 1. And then all you need to do is take components from your diagram, and you put them within your catalog. So here I'm putting this component, which is called DZ something from Bosch Rexroth, which is a pressure sequence valve. And I'm putting it in my catalog here in this category. And then I can do the same for this component right here. I'll put it as a root of my catalog. So now we have different components. And if you take generic components from the library, for example, I taken this pump, you can customize it and then put it in your catalog again. So you won't have to do the same job again of modeling it. So you'll give it a name, because here it doesn't have yet a name. Call it pump 1, let's say. So now we also have pump 1. And when it's in your catalog, you can put as many instances on your diagram. And you can, again, make it available to all of your company if you put it on a network share. If you don't want people to mess with it, you can lock it. Here at the top, you have the ability to lock your catalog and also put passwords. So there may be just a team that could define your own catalog, and then all of the rest of your company can use it and won't have the ability to make changes on it. And when you include components, you could even put the unit price of these components within your catalog. And then that could be part of your bill of material. With the bill of material, you have the ability to sum all of the prices on the diagram, so you could easily know how much it would cost approximately to build this kind of schematic. So these are things you can do with this Catalog Explorer. And for all components, you can even toggle the visibility. So if you make this one invisible by clicking on the eye right here, you apply the changes. And then when it will be locked, by default, when you open a catalog, it will be locked. If there's no password, you can easily unlock it just by clicking on this button. If there's a password, you'll be asked for it. So here I'm going to lock my catalog, and we see that that specific component disappeared because it has been hidden. Here I will unlock it, so there's no password, so it's very easy. You can even select a status for all these components, so they can be, if you model it yourself, they could be a draft or in progress or obsolete, valid. So there are all the different tools there for you to build a very useful catalog that can be used all across your company. So not only you is saving time with these catalogs, but also everyone. And you make sure that everyone works with the same model, so you'll have an homogeneous product, an homogeneous simulation. Okay. So I'll just look here. There's a couple of other things I want to show you about these catalogs. One thing I would like to note here is that you can not only put hydraulic components, you can create catalogs of electrical components, pneumatic ones, and it doesn't need to be an actual part. It could be your title block. For example, if I take this one, or if I build my own, let's say I make a drawing right here, I can make a group out of it and then put it in my catalog, and then let's call it or title block. And so now my title block is within my catalog, so that I can put it on any diagram I wish to create. So there's so much possibilities open with this tool. I hope you'll appreciate as much as I do. If you recall, at first I talked about how you can download your catalogs and how you can access it and download it, then how you can open it. For those of you that are unsure if you can, if you would have the ability to load these catalogs. You might have a look at your license key, and you don't need to have the actual access to the true USB hardware. You would go here into the Help menu, and then in About. And within the About menu, you'll find listed all the different modules which are included in your version of Automation Studio. And so this can be changed. If you buy other packages, we'll send you new activation codes. You won't necessarily need to download the latest new version of Automation Studio unless you don't have the latest one. If you recall, to open these catalogs, you need the latest version of Automation Studio, which is Automation Studio 5.7 Service Release 4. So here what I've got is all the components, well, the modules that are available for Automation Studio. So if we see here, we have the manufacturer's catalog subscription with an expiration date. So here it will expire in 2012 in March, the 5th of March. So from that date, just before, it will work perfectly well, and the next day it just won't work anymore. So I think we usually contact you before your subscription expire, but that's the thing you would need to check in order to make sure that you still conserve the ability to open the catalogs. This subscription gives you access to the manufacturer's catalog. If you have built your own catalog, you will still be able to open them. And if you have taken components from the catalogs and have put them on your diagrams, they will still open. It's just opening the manufacturer's catalogs. And then here you have the Catalog Explorer. So that's why you would retain the ability to open your own catalog, since you would still have the Catalog Explorer. And then we have a lot of different modules which you can buy, obviously, if you contact your sales representative. That's good for checking your license. And I want to say again that, well, our catalogs have been made with an agreement from the manufacturers. So for all of the different catalogs you would have seen in my Catalog Explorer, since I've opened them all, or here on our web page, so all the listed catalogs right here, I'll just wait for the screen to refresh. So all of these catalogs have been made while we had an agreement with a specific manufacturer. That's why also, if we don't have yet an agreement with a specific manufacturer, we won't go and build their catalog. They are part of the process of creating those catalogs. They'll come after us and validate the components we've done, because they are the ones who knows the best their own components. And so these catalogs are kind of validated twice, both by us and by them. And so if you don't yet see a catalog from a manufacturer, it can be for two reasons. First, we don't yet have an agreement with that specific manufacturer, so we haven't built a catalog for them. You might find some of their components into the Automation Studio Hydraulic catalog if they were requested by some of our customers, or you can make also your own requests, and we'll try to model them in the best time we have. But if we don't have yet that agreement, you won't see the catalogs right here. The other reason also may be that we have limited resources. Obviously, we don't have an infinite number of people right here, so it does take time to create good quality catalogs. And so we put a lot of effort and a lot of people are working here to build them, and it does take some time, depending on the complexity of the products it contains. Obviously, modeling check valves might be a lot faster than modeling complex pumps and control blocks. Talking about that, let's have a look at some of the components we have in our catalogs. For example, let's show, I'll just delete this right here and zoom on the page. So if we have a look at the Automation Studio Hydraulic Catalog right here, this is version 2, which will be released anytime soon. If we have a look, for example, at the control blocks we have, sometimes the more complex components have been modeled by their subparts so that you can combine them all and create an assembly which simulates the whole thing you're trying to model. So if we have a look here at the control blocks, let's have a look, for example, at the PVG32, which are very often used by our clients. Well, I'll just let it stay here. So here, these PVG32 are modeled with by kind of parts. So you would have the proportional valves right here, which can be included in a basic module that you'll find right here. So all you need to do, for example, if we take we would take a basic module and then go and take a proportional valve and put it right here. And then we can also include other components, and we have the pump side modules that you can put beside your component. We have the end plates or shock and suction valves. Here are the covers or end plates. Here it may not make a lot of sense. I'm not choosing them. But let's have a look at one which has already been done and validated. So let's have a look, for example, at this proportional valve. If you remember, if I go here under Documents, if I double-click on this one, it will open the test bench for this specific part. Let's close this. So here we have the pump, the check valve right here, some controls. We have a diagram from Eaton, and then we have the proportional valve. So I'll take one and put it here, and then I can launch the simulation, and using this joystick I can then control those valves here to apply pressure on either side of this proportional valve, which will control the flow going into here. We have a flow meter, and then we can see on our diagram that it follows this curve. And in this case, if you often use that specific group, so let's say this basic module with that specific proportional valve, instead of having them separated into the Automation Studio Hydraulic Catalog, what you can do is take the whole group. So I can take them both. So we both have the proportional valve and the basic module. Then I can group them and go back in my own catalog, which I have right here, demo. It's still unlocked. It needs to be unlocked when you insert components. So I would just take both of them and put it in here in my catalog. So I could call it a PVG32 assembly, assembly 1, or whatever you want to call them. I call it, and then put a description. And you can even put a category if you want to make search based on categories. And here it is. So we have the whole group. And then if I want, these components can be stacked. So I could put one next to it and connect them, and then have other actuators, and then be able to control the flow for different actuators. So that's very neat from these catalog. For example, these PVG32 valves. We still have a bit of time. I'll show you a nice feature which we have made in our catalogs, and we're actually trying to model our catalogs in this way in the future. We have the ability to have options. So here for these check valves, which are the one I use for the demonstration mostly up to now, I still have my project one. Okay. Let's delete these. So if I wish to put a component, let's say this check valve, on my diagram, I can just take it here, either directly from the tree or from the symbol right here. But here we have another feature which is demonstrated for this check valve in the Sun Hydraulic catalog. It was made as a demo, but we're actually trying to apply this to most of our catalogs. Here we have a barcode which illustrate the part number, or you can actually change the part number according to some options, and it will also change the properties of your check valve in this case. So here all of these have a nominal capacity of 20 liters per minute, and the control is not adjustable. But you can control the cracking pressure. So here I would have, let's say, 1 bar or 0.07 bars. So if I select 1 bar, I have an XBV component. But if I select 0.7, I will then have an XZV component. And if I click OK, then you'll see the part number will change right here, at the bottom right here. And you can then take the component and put it on your diagram. I'll delete the first two. So this one right here had the 0.07 cracking pressure. If I go back and select 1 bar instead, we have a different part number. You can put your component on your diagram, and then if we compare those two, you'll see the property will have changed accordingly. So here we have 0.07 bars. Here we have 1 bar. So we have those two right here. And if we double-click on this component, we might have a look here under technical data. You'll find the right cracking pressure for these components. So these are options which can be managed in the catalog module. And so that's a nice feature we're trying to use in most of our new catalogs. But the creation of these catalogs takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. Creating those options to be able to toggle easily the part number and the properties takes a bit more of time. So sometimes we'll release catalog which will not yet include these options. Instead, we're going to create a new catalog, so at least you'll have the part. Because here in the catalogs, here we've modeled them with options. If we don't have the options, well, the option feature used, what we'll do is we'll just list them all. And then you can just go and display the Properties tab, and instead of selecting the right cracking pressure into the option interface, you would just then go here and select the right component. So between those right here, there's only the cracking pressure changing, but it's already done for you. So you won't have to go into the technical data and change the cracking pressure yourself. They will be all listed there. Instead of having less components, but the ability to change the options. Another nice feature with those catalogs is some of you might know that we also have configurators which we have made for manufacturers, for example, like Hydroforce. Hydroforce, on their website, they give you access, if you register, I believe, to a software we've made for us, which is called Hydroforce iDesign. Here it is. So within within iDesign, you will have the ability to create schematics. You won't have the ability to simulate it like in Automation Studio, but at least you can create a schematic only with Hydroforce component, obviously. But if you do create your schematic, and here I'm doing it won't make sense, just to illustrate, if you do your schematic, then you have the ability to export it to Automation Studio. So you would click right here, and you would save as a HFX file. And so here, by default, it's called Manifold Project 1, because you can also build the 3D manifolds in iDesign. So I'll save it. So here it was exported to Automation Studio here from the File menu. File export, export to Automation Studio. So once exported, all you need to do is to have downloaded the Hydroforce catalog and placed it in the right folder in your Automation Studio folder in Program Files in Windows. And then you can do File Open, and then you would go here and select Hydroforce iDesign project. So here you'll see also a project for Comatrol and Eaton. We'll do the demonstration right here with Hydroforce. So if we click here, I have my manifold project. I can just click Open, and it will then load a project with the components I have added on my schematic in iDesign. And here you'll find the different components which are actually taken from the catalog. So they have the right curves behind them. They have the right technical data. You'll see all the lines. And you didn't have the ability to simulate the schematic directly in the Hydroforce iDesign software, but you will then have the ability to simulate it in Automation Studio, having done easily an import. So if you wish to take advantage from this feature, if you have trouble, you may contact again our technical support group. They'd be able to give you all the instructions on how you can configure this specific feature. So that's pretty much all about the Catalog Explorer. We could have talked about all the different components which are included in all the different catalogs. It would have taken a lot of time, because really the time you save by not having to model all these components and having to put all the information that will then let you easily build a bill of material, you save a lot. And for some of the components which are included into these catalogs, they can become quite complex. And obviously, we have a lot of knowledge here at Automation Studio to model these components, so you'll benefit from this experience. I recall for the last time, you need to make sure that you have all the requirements on our web page to use these catalogs. So all you need to do is go on our website, automationstudio.com, and you'll find a direct link to the manufacturer's catalog. We have it right here. Or if you just go here, it's the pro version of our website. If you just go to automationstudio.com, you'll also find a link that will directly link you to these catalogs. So we'll now move on to the question period. So if you have any question, I'll be pleased to answer them all. So you have different possibilities. You can either write them into the question pane of the GoToWebinar interface, or you can also raise your hand, and then I will unmute your microphone or telephone so that we can all hear you. and I'll answer your questions. So if you have any questions, I don't have any one yet, but if you do have questions, I'll be pleased to answer them. Hope you'll benefit from the use of our catalogs. This is a great product. So this webinar was about the catalogs. We had some also about the basics of using Automation Studio. And in the future, we'll try to find other good subject for other webinars. Even if you might have some suggestions on what we could talk about. Mainly, up to now, we only have the catalog and the basic introduction to Automation Studio. So I don't seem to have any questions from you yet. If you don't have any question, I'm happy you assisted to this webinar. Usually we try to record them and then we'll put them on our website. So if at any time you need to come back and to listen to it again, it should become available on our website. So I think obviously no one has questions. This was hopefully a very fully, not explicit, but I cover all the grounds about the catalogs. So if you have any questions, you might contact our technical support or your sales representative, or consult our website if you have any questions or to find for information like the requirements for the catalogs. So I wish you, depending on where you are, a good evening or a good day, and hope we'll have the chance to hear from you if you have any successful use of these catalogs, and if you build a very nice schematics. We're always happy to hear from you when we see that Automation Studio becomes a very great tool to use for you. So I'll then end the webinar for today. You may have the chance to hear me again for another webinar anytime soon. So I'll say you bye-bye.